Welcome back to the Eye of Jupiter podcast live. I am your host, Tom Franklin. Today is a special Halloween special, and today I have on the wonderful Cyn Shrader Hill. She's an author. She's an awesome person. We hit it off the first time she was on. I asked her, I think it was 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I can't remember when she was on with me. Hey, you want to come on the podcast for the Halloween? She's like, yeah. And boom, and here we are. She's dressed up. I'm dressed up. Don't be afraid. I am a little ghoulish today. So, as you guys know, we are on our march to 1,000 subscribers. I'm currently at 940 subscribers. So, if you keep finding yourself coming back to the Eye of Jupiter and you enjoy the content, please do me a favor, like and subscribe and comment on the channel. You can also find me on Rumble. You can also find me on Spotify and soon to be Apple Podcasts, etc., etc. If you guys are interested in buying some merchandise, I got you right here. You got yourself some shirts, you got yourself a hat, you got yourself a coffee cup. There's a couple posters on there. Yeah, Christmas is coming up. The link is in the description below, so don't be afraid to go over there and get yourself something if you'd like to. So that's the first time I've done that. I hope that worked out well. So with all that out of the way, please give a warm welcome to Miss Cyn Shrader Hill.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I am fine. How are you?
Oh, I am you. Welcome to the very spooky episode of the podcast.
I love these.
Look, we have somebody already saying, this is one of my wonderful moderators, Mrs. Pamela Stefanich. Welcome back, Cyn Shrader Hill. Great to have you back on.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. So excited. I've been looking forward to this since you asked me to be on here.
I was looking forward to actually having you back on, and you just great right at the moment, just immediately accepted. Magical Journey. This is the gentleman I was talking to you about in the green room. That's him right there. He's always one of my moderators as well. Cyn, please do me a favor for those who don't remember the last time you were on me. Please introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about yourself and where we can find you. And if you have anything that you want to plug, this is your moment, baby.
All right, Cyn Shrader Hill, author. Got 5 books on Amazon, and that's all over the world. Amazon, not just in the U.S. So check out your Amazon in your country. Those 5 books. If you've got Kindle and you subscribe to Kindle Unlimited, they're free. Free, I tell you, free. Grab them.
Yeah. That's not with a TH, it's with an F, ladies and gentlemen.
Free.
Grab them. That's how I pronounced it when I was a kid. So yeah.
Oh, did you?
So, yeah, no. I would say bubble bands instead of rubber bands. I would also say free, and my dad would get really mad at me. And I also spelled rabbit with 1 B, and he also got pretty upset at me for a long time. Hey, Eric's on. Hey, hi, Eric. It's going to be on. You're going to be on right after this episode on with the Austin. I would say Austin Reeves, Austin Powers. Both of those are incorrect. Austin.
That's actually the ringtone I have for him. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Austin and Eric, they have a pod over there, and Freaky Geek's asking Freed for how long. He's the jokester of the group. Until she says forever. It's not anymore. Forever. There you go.
Forever.
Awesome.
Kindle Unlimited forever. Yeah.
So many things have happened since you've been on here. You directed me to messing my brain is all over the place. Oh,
my buddy.
Your buddy, the dude in Florida.
Mark
Elliott Foltz. I've already actually recorded 2 episodes with him, and he will be on, like I was telling you, between the middle and the end of November. He's coming on with me and Magical Journey. I just was able to schedule that one with him, I think 2 days ago. And Mark, if you're seeing this, we're really looking forward to you coming on. And thank you so much, Shrin. Shrin. That's Cyn and Shrader together, Shrin. Directing me in his direction. He is a very, very interesting gentleman.
He's incredible. He really is. Yeah, and like you were saying, one of the nicest, sweetest guys. Whenever we go out to eat, when we're lucky enough to meet, he saves part of his food and takes it outside to feed the strays.
Oh, I believe it.
He's
believe
just
it.
a good person. Just a good
Oh,
person. But yeah, go ahead.
But if you're here, you go. Here's the link. She's also the founder of Elk Valley Paranormal, so you can go over and check that out. So it's an awesome little channel over there. Or you have a channel as well? Is it just a channel, or is it just your website? You have a channel
right now, it's just the website, elkvalleyparanormal.com. I'm on Facebook, Cyn Shrader Hill author.
Okay.
Elk Valley Paranormal is also on Facebook. You can catch me there. All over Instagram, TikTok. I am there. Find me. Yeah.
On YouTube, it says right there. We got a YouTube thing here. Okay, because my moderator Pam was she's so fantastic.
Good. She is so good.
She's so good. I got so lucky. She was just like, "Oh, I want to be a moderator," and I'm like, "Okay, how does that work?" And then, so we had a show yesterday. We had a Former of the Forbidden. That's me, whatever I am. Probably more somewhere is like Eastern. Like more in that area of the way I think about the world, and if I were to be religious of sorts. And then we had Magical Journey, who's a self-professed Green Witch, and my buddy Jim, who is a very devout Christian. And we all come together, and we basically say the same thing, but from different angles. And then she comes on yesterday. I have a rubber mask around her too. And she comes on yesterday. I didn't know it was her. She had on a rubber mask, and she's smoking a cigarette, and she's over there acting like it's me. And I'm like, who is that? Like they put her on as the fourth person. And it was very funny. And then she left. I didn't know it was her. And they were like, a Jew, Tom, a Jew. And I'm like, no. And then she came back on as Jim. Then she came back on as Magical. And then came back on as Paul from the Paranormal Amoung Us. And so she bought masks and get-ups for everybody. She's awesome. She is such a wonderful. She's out there. She is. Thank you, Pam. You are what makes a lot of this go. A lot of this happen. Yeah. So I want to get back to Mark. So Mark is a channeler of the deceased. I don't know how he would word it. He's also really into esoteric. He writes about the esoteric. He's so he gave me an offer. So he'll see this. I hope he does. He gave me an offer to actually ask questions of the infamous Bell Witch.
To channel.
To channel the Bell Witch and ask that I could ask questions of the Bell Witch. And you said that you trust him, and I believe you and all that. But I got to tell you, that is above my pay grade, and it scared me. And I asked everybody. I asked Pam. I asked everybody. They were like, "Well, you better be very prepared. Put your scents out and put your rocks around you." And I was like, "I don't know how to do any of this stuff." Yeah.
He has actually channeled over the phone for me before, and it's creepy. Oh. It's just freaking creepy. He goes into this kind of weird moan kind of thing, and then voices start coming out. His face changes. I mean, it's something to see, but it can freak you out.
He sent me the audio of the Bell Witch entering him. And it's about a 2-minute. It's going to be, when the episode comes out, guys, it's going to be in a couple weeks. You'll hear that at the end. He gave me permission to actually put that on the show. It is, just go ahead and make sure you have your candles burning, because it is freaking scary. And so I told him, for the moment, I'll take a not a strong pass, but I'll take a pass at the moment, because I'm not ready for that. Like I said, that's far beyond my grade at the moment. But I will be having a live with him, like I said, and it's going to be on with Magical Journey, and we'll have whatever witch kind. He's also a witch, along with Magical Journey, awesome. Who is a green witch, and that's going to be me in the middle, like, okay, guys, go for it.
Right. That's going to be a great show.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And once again, thank you so much for directing me to him. He's just a diamond in the rough. Like, I did not know he existed. And
he's great.
We hit it off. He's fantastic. So
go ahead,
please.
I was starting to tell you, he had, and I might have told you this on the last show, that I introduced him to Eric also. And when we were
Eric
up
Freeman
at the
Sims.
night house, yeah, when we were up there at the night house, the haunted house he
The
just
property he
bought
bought.
and fixing
Yes.
up, yeah. I called Mark, or I think Eric did on his phone, and Mark was doing a remote via the phone. So before we started walking around, he was telling us, where to go, this kind of thing. He can draw maps of properties when he's not even there. And so Austin Lawrence, our other buddy,
Austin Lawrence,
has started using him on his investigations that he's working on documentaries for. So
Austin's been doing some documentaries. Yeah.
You might want Austin back on because he just had a guy do ground penetrating radar. Mark had done a remote to tell them where to start to look for the graves. And a guy came up to do ground penetrating radar, and they found, I want to say his last count was 200 or something people, graves. I'm not sure if that's single graves, including with the mass ones, because they have several mass graves on the property, and Mark helps them find that.
Wow, I've seen that. I've actually seen that. I've seen him post something that he found some graves and stuff. I had another gentleman on. He's from Texas. He uses divining rods to go and find things like that. So, and he's found his car keys before. He lost them somewhere, and he on his property, and then took divining rods, thought about it in his head, and found his car keys. So, but that's how powerful Mark is. You also said that sometimes he casts protection for you.
Oh, he does.
Is that accurate? Okay, yes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Because I've had a couple of things come up over the last few years, and people have more or less threatened me for whatever. And I'd call Mark and say, this girl, I know she practices something, but I don't know what.
Okay.
Do I need to worry? And he'll go, nah, she can't get out of a wet paper bag.
That's exactly how he sounds.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah. Like I said, my buddy, Magical Journey. Pam, could you pop up his channel for me so we can give him some love? I had a similar, like I was telling you, in the green room. I had a similar situation happen with me, and he's like, "Don't worry about it, dude. I got you." And then it went away, like it never happened. So, whatever that means, I don't know. Yeah, go ahead, please.
It's really good to have a friend like that.
It is. He's a wonderful person.
Don't lose him, because I don't plan on losing Mark.
Oh, I'm not going to lose either one of them. I think me and Mark were going to be. If I ever go to Florida, he will be the first person I greet, and the second one will be my good buddy Neil Ballas. Neil Ballas is awesome. Dude, he's another, he's a remote viewer, deep into dreams. Here we go. Here's Magical Journey's YouTube, guys. Go over and give him some love. He's just starting out, and he's a great interviewer, a wonderful gentleman, and we're going to try to make him famous.
We're friends on
I love
Facebook
you too, buddy.
now.
I love you too.
We're friends on Facebook now.
Who, me and you?
Oh, well, me and you, but me and Magical Journey. Me and Magical Journey.
Yeah. I don't know where we met each other. I think he's seen me on Josh Turner's show or something. I don't even remember. It might have even been on Texas Front Porch. This is months ago. And he just started talking to me, and I was like, okay, because he wears this hat thing. I don't know what it's called. Kind of looks like something like a Jewish person will wear, but please do not get upset, Magical. I don't know what it's called, but it's bigger. And he had a little bit of makeup in his picture. I was like, okay, it's a little. And then we got to talk, and he's just the sweetest, kindest, most thoughtful, gentleman person in the world. Just like Mark. Reminds me of Mark, but Mark's a little spookier. in the best way possible.
Yeah, he can be. And he doesn't mean to be. But I was telling you, he calls me a lot, and he'll start talking, and it's like, I don't know, years above me. And he'll say, right, are you following me? And I'll say, Mark, I need about 24 to 48 hours to let that process. I have no idea what you just said, but I heard it.
Yeah,
I did hear it. And
that's
he'll
like,
go,
that's
okay,
like,
I'll call you tomorrow or the next day. We'll talk about it. So he's good.
yeah. It's like sitting there with like it's like sitting there with some physicist or something when you understand, like, okay, there's numbers and letters and we're talking about how things move and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he'll drop something on you that sparks something in your head that he's telling the truth and making complete sense, but you need to process it. He does that. And like I was telling you, I have to kind of let it fly by so I can keep the show going.
Right. Right.
So yeah.
And
He's gonna be he's great.
yeah, just think about getting a phone call from him every other night like that. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, whoo, okay, I'm with you, but you got to give me a little break to think about it.
Yeah.
Listen, I was telling you, I'm working on his cookbook, right?
Yeah, right. He was telling me from his his grandmother that he does not like.
My mean old grandmother, my mean old grandma's good old cookbook.
I'm gonna do an impression of him. She is a beach. That's the way she's just a beach. That's the way he says it.
A beach. And
yes.
he says his mouth just like that. Beach.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And he's serious. And they were mean to him. They were all mean to him growing up.
Yes.
But it's made him.
Magical had the same thing happen to him as well. Had a lot of hard time adjusting to quote unquote normality. And because we're not the same. And many people that we've run into are, just exceptional. But these two stand out to me in the top of my head when I think about people where I just go, I connect right, like, okay, this is weird. I don't know what I'm doing. And he's so sweet and kind. He's so sweet and kind. It's like, it's kind of like showing a toddler how to ride a bike with training wheels on it. But he's just like, would you want to get on the bike? Right? I'm like, yeah, I'll put me on the bike. But he's so kind and gentle. He's just great. So you wanted to get into some Halloween stuff? You said you had something prepared that you wanted. Yeah, let's go.
We can.
Sure.
You know how, the symbols of Halloween, right? So you've got witches and bats and cats and all that kind of stuff. Jack-o'-lanterns, right? Do you know there is actually a legend about the jack-o'-lantern? That's why it all started.
I think I've heard of it, but I don't remember it. Maybe you can enlighten me a little bit.
I will put these glasses on and I will tell you.
Oh, I love that. You look like an evil librarian. I'm digging it. It's actually called a slushie. I used them to veil. Oh, it's a slushie. That's what he's. If that's, I'm probably mispronouncing that, but that's what it's called. Okay, cool. Thank you, Magical.
Nice. Okay, jack-o'-lantern. Stingy Jack is the behind this legend, and he was a mischievous man that actually made deals and broke them with the devil, and it finally caught up with him. So he was not allowed into hell or heaven. He was made to walk the earth from there on out. So people started carving turnips and jack-o'-lanterns, anything they had, or pumpkins.
I'm sorry. Right? I'm sorry, my comic brain just went. So he's meant to walk the earth like kung fu.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. So yes, please. I'm sorry. My brain just went.
No. He's just going around going, "Let me in," and they've got all these things burning to keep him out. But they got in hopes of keeping his ghost out, and then people started dressing up and all that kind of stuff. To the Celts actually started dressing up and on Samhain to keep the bad spirits from knowing who they were. So that's why we dress up. So there's all kinds of stuff going on.
So they would be confused by whether or not this is a live person or not.
Right.
Therefore, they can that's so dark.
I love it though. I love it. Yeah, I just love it.
The cool thing about it is that you get to be, for one day, you get to be silly in your own dark way.
It is my favorite. I love this. And when you said you were going to dress up, I was like, yes! I'm so excited.
I even got on my Rammstein shirt with the helmet guy.
I love it. I love it. But
Oh, look
then
at that.
last week you sent the message and said, no, I'm not going to dress up. Oh,
That's not what I said. That's not what I actually went through it today. I was making sure I sent you the link. Let's go ahead and read, shall we? But I can see how it's misconstrued. So I sent it to you. I go, send here's the link. Next week, let me know if there's anything you need. And you wrote, I can't wait! Exclamation point. I go, yes. Got a mask? Laugh out loud. Laugh out loud.
that is true.
Makeup and a wig. Oh crap! In other words, I got to step up my game. That's what I'm thinking. And you go, why? Aren't you wearing? Aren't you wearing the Day of the Dead makeup? And I said, no. I thought you were because I was going to wear a mask. See, there's the misconfusion. And see, I messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened. It was a misunderstanding.
I misunderstood completely. That's
No worries.
exactly what it was. See, I was giving you down the road for nothing.
See, for about 3 hours ago, this whiteness was actually concrete dust.
I love it. I love it. All right. What else you want to know about Halloween?
Anything you want, anything that you find interesting that would tickle me. I don't know. Go ahead and fire away.
Okay, let me tell you about black cats first. And then I'm gonna tell you a couple of things that I found that I just went, what? That I think you're gonna like. But black cats, they are considered witch familiars, right? One of the animals that is a familiar. And I mean, they've got a long list of things that can be their witches familiars. But the black cat actually started with a Scottish and Irish legend of a cat Sith. And I had never heard this. I love cats, and I had never heard this. This cat Sith was anything but cute and cuddly. According to Scottish folklore, it was described as a giant black cat with a little white patch on its chest. And it would go to visit farms on Samhain looking for milk. Now, if the farmers left the milk out for it, it would drink the milk and bless the farm. If they forgot to leave milk out or just didn't, then he would curse the cattle, rendering the cows unable to produce milk ever again.
Whoa. And where was this? Where is this at?
This is a Scottish legend, Scottish and Irish. And I had never, ever heard that. Cat Sith.
So a cat can make your cows dry up.
Right. I had no idea. I didn't know they had that power.
Like I found out yesterday that people with Rh negative blood have an extra vertebrae. Did you know that?
What? No.
Yes.
No.
This is what was told to me. I did a little bit of research again today, but people with Rh negative blood, so O negative, B negative, A negative,
yeah.
they have as far as I understood, an extra lumbar. Like instead of 5, they have 6.
Stop it.
Jim, go ahead and if you what's it? My brain. Fisher of Spam's Night Watch. Please go ahead and pop up where you got. I looked it up, but you can type it in Rh negative blood, and if you Google it. I kind of seen things I couldn't. I was working today. It just popped in my head again today, and they're also less susceptible to like getting sick. Also very interesting, as well as the paranormal aspects that they seem to have. They're much more abducted. They're much more likely to see a cryptid, much more likely to see anything of this nature. And I just found that to be fascinating. And I think it was 40% of the people in the Basque region of Europe, so in the Iberian Peninsula, have this blood type. So it's very weird. And Jim has that, and he has some French in him. And I was like, wow.
I'm There's all kinds of chat going on about it right now. I'm going to have to look it up.
I'm gonna have to look it up too. Like I said, it's
Yeah.
hearsay at the moment. An extravertebrate X-ray revealed it recently. There you go, Pam.
Stop.
And if it's coming from Pam, you take it as gospel, okay?
Wow.
I am RH negative and have an extravertebrate X-ray revealed it recently. That's all you need to know.
Wow. Boom. I know, Magical Journey. I almost want to test mine too. Right now.
Well, I'm O positive, so I'm O positive. I know mine. Wow.
I mean, learn something new every day. I love it.
Yeah, I learned it yesterday, and I was just dumbfounded by it. So, like, these people are not, the people who have this, which is, what was it, like 15%, 10%? Well, not even that, something like that. They're less likely, because if you believe in evolutionary theory, and I'm not, I kind of do and kind of don't, depends which day you catch me on. If these viruses, if they also, which I'm not a doctor, if they also are real or not, I don't know. There are more evolutionary lead towards people who have O positive, because that's the majority of the people. So people who then, for example, when COVID hit, like Jim said, it knocked me down for a day and I was okay. And I was like, man, it knocked me out for 5 weeks. And he was like, so wow, I'm wearing a costume next week regardless. Okay. Oh, this is my buddy. Oh, spooky. This is the Reverend Victor S. Johnson. Go and check out his channel. He is awesome.
Oh,
check out.
I will.
He's great. He likes to travel around. He's a big fan of like Edgar Allan Poe and like a lot of he just went to Mount Shasta. We're going to talk about Mount Shasta when he comes on, and he just goes. Yes.
Yeah.
And 411 stuff. He goes to different locations, and he went to Edgar Allan Poe's grave, and he's very comical with it at the same time, very dry humor, but also very fantastic and well researched before he does anything. Please go around and check out his channel. He's awesome.
I'll have to. Did you happen to see what Smurfy wrote about RH?
No. Smart.
Go back a little bit.
This one?
Yeah.
I just get well, I get gas too, especially in the morning. I never.
That's awesome.
Oh wow! And but we still know your blood, Magical. We still know your blood type. We're gonna have to fund. Go over to Magical, ask him what his thing is, and tell him to go down to his local clinic and get him a blood test so we can find out if he's because he's had some experiences as well, of course.
Wow.
All right. Yeah, it's so many things in this world that we just every day we're learning something. I'm like a proverbial fence setter, and there's things I lean more towards than other. Don't harm children. That's not a fence setting situation. That for me is clearly easy.
Yep. Yep.
And don't read to him while you're wearing a dress if you're a dude. Not a big fan. Sorry. People should figure it out for themselves. I'm old school. Call me. I'm old. Look, I'm dead. I'm dead, guys.
Tonight you are. You look good for it, though. You look good for it.
Thank you. AB positive, actually kind of true. AB gonna get gastro. And okay, all right. So you just farted a little bit. Okay. Hey, Pam, could you do me a favor and grab Destination Spooky's website so we can pop that up, or his channel so we can pop that up? He's a good friend of mine. He's been on the channel before at a live, and he's coming on another one. Very comical guy. Actually, one of the channels that I actually knew about before I even started podcasting. So, and I was like, oh, I know this guy. This is cool. Such a funny guy.
He'd already grabbed your attention before you started yours.
Right.
Nice.
And then he actually is in connection with your buddy, Austin. They're like friends.
Oh, yeah?
They went through that situation. We don't have to talk about it, but they went through that situation. If you knew anything about the situation
that's happening,
happened. It happened and or happens or is happening. I'm just kind of covering all my bases. You know what I'm talking about? A certain group, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he's in that circle. It hit him harder than it hit everyone, but
okay.
He's a big. They're like also friends together. So now you know somebody also through Austin. So we're all like,
right?
It's like the family's growing. This is so.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I love meeting everybody. I think it's great.
Yeah, and I'm the only one in Mexico. Oh,
I know, right? You've got to come visit.
I gotta fix my truck first.
You- Okay, fix the truck and then come on up.
I wanted to show you a picture that someone gave me at work today. I was going to show them the camera, see if it works. Check this out. I don't know if it'll show. No, it doesn't show. No, it will not show.
It's not. Wait. I can't tell what it is.
Yeah. Well, go over my Facebook, guys. Go over and like on the Facebook. He gave me a picture, and it appears to be a goat man.
Oh, it's the one you posted. That is freaky as hell.
I gotta check in on it. He hasn't written me back yet because the people where I work with, I move around. There's a certain group of guys that I work with, and I had my first interview in Spanish, so that's going to come up soon. I'm going to do a whole separate section of the channel just for Spanish with subtitles.
Nice.
And there's some cool stories. I'm talking about Alushas. You know what Alushas are? I think I told you last time. Maybe not. Alushas is plural. An Alush is like a goblin troll mixed with a cherub mixed with like a
ALUX, right?
Yes.
It's so like I know what they are. I was not pronouncing them correctly though when I was telling about them.
Alux. You were probably saying Alux, right?
I was. How do you say it?
Alush.
Alush.
Yeah. And he was telling me, I'll give a little bit of it away. Just the main part of it is, there's another one where it was pretty scary. But so his brother, they were sitting on a property. It was his property, I think, and a friend of his. He knows both of them, of course, his brother and the guy. And they kept hearing something because there's a lot of caves here, and these things like to live in the caves, right? Or be in the caves or whatever they're doing in there. It's not like it's not like they're down there. They're not in a gold mine or nothing down there doing work like the dwarfs or something. But they kept hearing something. And he goes, "What is that?" He goes, "Oh, let's try this out." So this is what they do here. They take a little glass of beer and a cigarette, and they'll take it towards the darker part of it, and they'll set it there and let it be lit and let it burn. And he said he's seen the eyes come out and this thing come and grab it, smoke the cigarette, and drink the beer. And the dude freaked out and ran away. This is all in Spanish, but the guy got a fever for like 3 days. This is also a very common occurrence when you run across these things, where people, my girlfriend told me that people, get unalived when this happens. Like they'll have a fever for a certain amount of day and they'll end up like perishing.
Isn't it true too
cool
that
stuff.
if you leave food and treats out for them, that's kind of what they're looking for anyway? And
corn.
If you don't,
you leave corn out.
Corn, okay, and that's
corn. You build like a little house. It's maybe, I don't know, maybe 2.5 foot tall, and there's a door. If the door is open, they're allowed to stay. If the door is closed, they're not allowed to be there. But normally, if the door is open, you're allowed to stay. And they put a little bit of corn inside, or like cornbread or something like that, and it kind of protects the farm. It's a Mayan thing that the Mayans used to do to protect their fields from like other Mayan, because Mayan is just a people. It's kind of like separate little situations, and they would come in and take people's stuff, and they would use these Alushas to protect their property. But after the people then left, because you have to understand, the Mayan civilization only like really ended like when Cortez came over. So it was at the 1500s. So that's what we're talking 600 years ago. So these things are still here. And I've actually, I believe, had some run-ins with them myself. I'm talking voices. I'm talking lights. I've seen some stuff out in the jungle. I own 10 acres in the jungle. And when I was out there, I've had 3 different run-ins with something out there. So, yeah.
Do you think they're more elemental?
Yes, somewhere between like an elemental and a homunculus, because you make them. Supposedly, it's like a 7-day ordeal with like mud, corn, and blood, and some type of ritual. 7 days. They're conjured.
Wow, I did not know that. Did not know that.
I might have him on again. I'll ask him to come on one time. He's a dude from here. He speaks English, and his family and his friends kind of know quite a bit about it. And you have to understand, witchcraft here is a big thing. Big thing.
You guys,
everyone knows a witch.
and you guys have so many legends down there.
Yes.
So many. La Llorona is just one of them. There's
La Llorona.
tons,
La Llorona,
tons of
very famous.
yeah,
This. Yeah. There's the. Have you heard? Okay, so you have the Bell Witch in America,
yeah.
but on the Yucatan Peninsula, it's called the Ixtabay. XAT. Can't spell it, but it's Xatbay. Check that one out. It's like a beautiful woman
Yeah.
with long. He was telling me a story about that today. I actually should get that one recorded.
Like a
It was
siren? Is she a siren?
kind of, but it's long black hair, beautiful Mayan woman, beautiful like olive tone skin, just beautiful, long black hair that she brushes, and she likes to show up around like drunks. It's mostly like a drunk thing. Seriously, and here it's commonplace. There's like, I've run into quite a few, and they'll show off from beer, and then like they'll go okay, and they'll turn away to do something. They'll turn back, and it'll be like a horse leg and a chicken leg, and like a hag face, and they'll run away. Or she'll lure people into the forest. This is what I heard today. So this guy, maybe someone in the family, someone he knew. He got lured into the woods from this beautiful woman, and then she disappeared, and he got lost in the woods for 3 days. And here it's easy. Here it's easy to get lost. This is the jungle, dude. You get lost.
Wow. Wow. What a bitch. Right?
Yeah, she's a meanie.
Mark would call her a bee.
Yeah, she's a bitch. She's so funny. He also does this little voice sometimes. He'd be like talking, he'd be like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then he'll go, yeah, I don't know, but this man is awesome. He'd be like, who is that inside your head there, Mark? He does like a Jim Gaffigan impersonation.
I'm telling you, he's got like 5 voices, and you never know which one is coming out next. It is a roller coaster phone call from him every time you talk to him. He's great.
Yeah. So let's get into more. What do you do in the paranormal field exactly, Cyn? What is it that you do? How do you contribute to this mystery?
I try to find voices, especially. That's my favorite thing to do.
That's right. You're the EVP.
I like EVPs.
Specialist?
I do.
I love them too.
I'm not. No, there ain't no specialist in this paranormal world. Ain't nothing.
Yeah.
But
thank you so much for correcting me. That's a very admirable correction of my mistake, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. I really mean that.
Yeah. Nobody.
You can't really tell it with this face. I'm actually smiling sometimes, but it just looks creepy.
You know, I was on Legit Podcast for a year, and I threatened them to show up on the one show every week. That I was on 2, and I threatened to show up in a different wig every time. I didn't, but I should have.
That's definitely a veiled threat. I would show up in a wig when I come. Oof. Oh, yeah, no, it's just a joke.
They would never know what was going to hit them. That's.
Oh my God. Yeah. Once I'm able to make a little more money with this podcast, you will see a wig from time to time. I'm gonna get that 80s hairband, like Skid Row hair.
Hey, I've got a pink one. Hot.
18 in life to go.
When you want to do a wig show, I got you.
A wig show. Oh, I want to have you on the Rain. Come on. It's just going to be like shows where we just kind of talk. Just like talk. I just love talking to somebody who's a great orator. A great orator for me, someone who just kind of goes with it, but knows how to spin it. You.
We have fun.
Okay.
We have fun. Yeah.
So what is it about EVPs that just get, for me, the scariest thing is disembodied voices. If I heard one of those, I can see an apparition, lights, the door slamming, cupboards open, I'm fine. But if someone goes, hey, I'm over here, I'm out of there. So
really?
Yeah, it just scares. No, it's scary.
I've heard my name called a couple of times, and that was kind of freaky. I was in the basement of my friend Valerie's store, and I heard it was Cindy. My name is Cynthia. My family calls me Cindy. But I heard Cindy in my ear, and I asked them, "Did you hear something?" Nobody else heard it. And I heard it right after I asked. So the second time. And
Okay.
then later, when I got home, I had heard my name. It was there in the recording. But what I hadn't heard is Cindy, Cindy, right here, you can take our place. I didn't want to. I don't want to be a part of that.
Now,
I
whoa,
no,
that's scary. Was this is in your house you grew up in?
no. This was in my friend Valerie's old store on the square here in Fayetteville, Tennessee. She had lots of weird stuff going on. The square here in Fayetteville, and being in the Bible Belt, you've got a
Yes.
lot that happens, and there's lots of um, fighting that's been done over the years, not just Civil War and, War of 1812. It's Native, it's everything.
Mhm.
And all that blood trauma is still in the ground
Oh,
and in things
what people
around us.
what people don't understand either is Appalachia
Oh,
it is unique. It is unique. Like people would say things like, when you think of like vampires, you think of Romania, Romania, and a certain part of Romania is called Transylvania. So you're
right.
like, oh, that's spooky. You think of Germany, you think of the Black Forest.
Hmm.
You think of Mexico, you do think of the Yucatan. It's
Right.
got that, but the Appalachians are such an old mountain system. Actually, it's like a mountain system that existed and like split apart, eroded, came back together, and now eroded again. It's super old and super spooky. And if you then add to that, like, some older like religion, especially Christian religion, where
Hmm.
people are not like, supported in saying, okay, what have you heard? And it's kind of like hush hush. And now
Hmm.
with shows like my own and many others, people are starting to come out and they're
Yeah.
starting telling us about these things. And you hear the craziest things from Appalachia, just the most insane stuff ever.
Well, and now you're hearing things because people are able to speak more. Growing up, we never talked about anything like this. It just was not done. If
Right.
you started talking about ghosts and things like that, you were going to be sent to a psychiatrist.
Really?
Or, and that was an easy choice. That was one of the nicer choices that could happen to you.
Mm.
You just didn't speak of it.
I was talking to the Paranormal Rejects there in Alabama, and he is I can't remember what he said he is. He's kind of a pagan. He's a pagan. And he's like, I'm down here in Alabama, and people don't like me down here. I got fired from a job. I've had so many issues. If people like you're in certain parts, they'll really come with the pitchforks and the torches
They
and come
can.
and get you still. And that's so scary. Like people
They
still can't
can.
just be themselves. It's so
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah. And it's one thing to be yourself, but it's when people want to let everyone else know this is me, and this, I want you to accept me. And other people aren't ready to accept that. That's when you get into trouble. So there's nothing wrong with being you. There is nothing wrong with being you. Who you are is who you're supposed to be, and that's
It's,
everybody. I
and that's
mean,
wonderful. Yeah,
yeah.
and
And
I'm gonna lend
thank
the
God.
olive branch to conservative Christians. That's also fine. Be who you are, but doesn't mean that you get to then
Don't
stifle
push
the
it.
rights of others
Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
your belief. You can't
Don't
do that.
push
That's not
it.
how this works. It's not how this
Uh-uh.
works. We're
No.
all into this together, and we all
Mhm.
have different pieces of the puzzle that you may not have thought about, or you know what I mean? Because love doesn't stop at where at which God you believe in or what your faith
No.
is.
No. No.
It's universal, and
Exactly.
excuse me. Yeah,
Exactly. So
yeah.
yeah.
So we're about to hit. So Halloween is then tomorrow, and I'm going to grab my little girl. She's coming in. I'm grabbing her extra. So I started work early this week to take off Friday, and so on Thursday after work tomorrow, I'm going to go grab her, and then we're going to go and start because in Mexico you get Dias de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. That's a holiday, but they celebrate it on the night before, so Halloween. So it's Halloween at Dias de Muertos tomorrow downtown, and you will see some crazy stuff. I went there last year. Then they have the Aztecs. The
Yeah.
Aztecs, they have a certain dress, and they have a death whistle, and it's like that crazy war, that really crazy whistle. If you ever heard the death whistle before,
I don't know.
and then you'll see the Mayans come in, and they do their own. They got the drum too with the, and it's just like it's wild. I mean, a big parade. They don't play here. They don't play here, so it's going to be. I have a whole weekend scheduled for my little girl, so I'm looking forward to it.
Is Dia de los
Dias-
Muertos? I'm so
Dias-
terrible at that. I'm so terrible at.
Uh-huh.
But isn't it the first and the second? What or Halloween first and second? Because isn't there not only the family that you talk about, then they also have the saints, and or am I just pulling that out of my butt?
It's raining outside. I hope I have to run out there and get my truck or wash it down the
I
road.
wish we were getting some rain. I wish we were.
Yeah, you don't want that kind of rain here.
No.
Oh God, I guess I'll find that in a little while. When my truck washes down the middle of the street, I'll find it.
Oh no!
It literally a rapid comes by here because I have to switch places, which will happen sooner than later. There's a rapid that come past here, and you can literally ride a kayak, and it's about 3 foot high, and it rushes at about, I'd imagine every bit of 30, 40 mile an hour. So yeah, I think Dias de los Muertos is one day, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Is one. I think it's the 1st of November. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But if my lady was here, I would ask her. She knows better. So they
I
do
thought
this
she was
thing.
right there. I thought she was right there.
No, her father just passed away on Saturday.
Right. I am so sorry about that.
Yeah, it's it's a little weird. It's a little weird for me. And we've been together for over a year, but still, it's weird for me, especially when you meet somebody then someone passes. So, so they do like a 10-day grieving thing. So she's going up there every night between 7:30 and 8, where they sing songs and all that. And it's been a while since I've seen a deceased person in a coffin. That's been a while. But here's the funny thing: I haven't spoken about this since doing this podcast and speaking to people about opening up your senses, that either your third eye or whatever that is. When I was in the room, I actually felt this dude's presence in there. I don't know how to describe that. It kind of felt like if you're at a window and the sun shines through, like that heat.
Uh-huh.
And I was just like, okay, am I imagining this? So he was like off to my front right. So I actually kind of turned myself to see if it would follow me, and it did. It did. So I felt it, and I also had this overwhelming sense of a sense of confusion. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
And that just happened recently. So there's a lot of things happening at this particular moment. We have Halloween and the family. So it's weird. And then I look like this, so I'm not. I don't know if I'm adding to the negative or the positive.
You are hiding yourself from bad spirits. That's what you're doing.
All right, that's right. That was your PSA at the beginning. Thank you.
Exactly. It's good. It's all good.
Where does Halloween actually come from? I've heard it before, but maybe you can tell me again. Halloween is like more of a European thing.
Yeah, All Hallows Eve and Samhain. So really old Samhain. It looks like Samhain if you see it, in print. It looks like Samhain, but it's pronounced Samhain. And it's Celtic, way back, all kinds of stuff. They would have.
It's Celtic. There it is. Magical knows this stuff.
Yeah, and he can probably tell it much better than me.
He says that Samhain is New Year. That's what he's saying. Is New Year's.
Is there New Year? Well, and it too. Back then, they would build bonfires, and it would be they would share their crops for the season.
Oh, wow!
Welcome winter coming. And so that was a big thing. And that's another reason, back to the symbols, that's why bats are considered a symbol of Halloween or Samhain, because
Oh,
when you
they
have
migrate.
bonfires, it
Oh,
makes bugs come in, and bats like bugs.
it all makes
So,
sense, don't it? It all makes
right.
sense somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
cool.
lots going on.
Yeah, that was the
Lots.
same thing. I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm not Christian. I'm a man of God, but not Christian,
Mhm.
which everyone knows by now. But that's the same thing that happens on the death and resurrection of Jesus. Is there's a time period in the winter solstice, or solstice, equinox
Yep.
solstice. Equinox is equal, solstice not being that between the 21st and the 24th.
Hmm.
There's 3 days in there where the sun looks like it rises in the same spot each day. It's an optical illusion, but it rises in the same spot every day. And those 3 days is considered like the part of the year where it's like, okay, the world may not come back. And then on the 24th, it moves to a different spot and it rises again. So therefore, the next year then comes.
Can resume.
Right. Can
Wow.
resume. So
Yeah,
stuff like that I love stuff like that.
I do too. I do
It's so
too.
cool. Because,
Stonehenge, all that kind of stuff. Oh man, so
yeah.
interesting.
So I got offered two from a gentleman that I work with. He said I didn't know much. He said he heard noises under his bed, and then his mom had a witch come in and take an egg and rub it all over his body and said there's spirits. And I don't know, but he offered me to go to a pyramid in the woods and a old church in the woods with bones here
And
in here in Mayan country. And I was like, okay, as long as we bring water,
lot.
food.
Mhm.
No candles, no mumbo jumbo. Just going out. Egg cleansing. Thank you, sir. He's on Magical is on it today.
He is.
He's on it. He knows the stuff, man. You're gonna maybe you guys can meet him one day. Maybe he
I
runs a
want to
podcast
meet.
too.
I want to
He
meet
has a
him in
podcast.
person.
There you go. There you go. Looks like you have a show coming up. Go ahead and contact her. And make sure,
I'd
go ahead and
love.
contact her. He's a sweetheart. He's a
I'd
sweetheart.
love. I'd love to meet him in person too. I just feel like I need to.
Well, he's not
Like
that
a,
far
like
from you. He's in Tennessee
I,
too, somewhat.
I thought so. I thought so
He's in,
because when I was going to the Chickamauga Festival for the Green Eyes Festival, he asked where that was because he's a festival guy. You said
he
he really
does a
likes
few.
festivals.
He does a few, yes.
Aw, thank you. I'll be
Yeah,
looking forward.
he said he works somewhere. I don't know, Huntsville or something. I can't remember. Here, I work in Huntsville and Madison, wherever that is.
Oh, that's very close to me.
Yeah,
That's
there you
very
go. So
close.
you guys can go to a thing together. Meet up there. That way,
Yeah,
there's no. Yeah. You
that'd
guys
be
can go in
fun.
dressed up and have fun. I literally passed by you this morning coming home. There you go.
What?
Yeah,
Stop it.
it's meant to be. I'm telling you, this guy is awesome. He's a sweetheart.
We're
Sweetheart.
gonna have to get together.
There it
That's
is.
all there is to it. We're gonna have to
Look at
get
it. The eye of Jupiter connecting people, connecting the oddballs together.
right, and that's what we are. We're all oddballs that come
Yeah.
together.
But a very good group of oddballs, if I must say so
Yeah,
myself.
I mean everybody plays off each other and learns from each other. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. I want. The whole idea of this was to enlighten people, to try to enlighten people as well as enlighten myself. That's why we are the eye. We are aware. In other words, we see what you are doing. In other words, that for me, it's the hidden hand of power. It's the ones who tell you do not, to not do psychedelics. Don't do psychedelics, people. But the ones who tell you that as well, not to connect to the third eye, not to do any of that. And I love also the other things, all the spooky things, all the weird and unusual, the things that you don't hear. But I also wanted to foster a community in which people can come in and feel comfortable sitting down and talking to somebody on another side of the planet and feel like they're sitting in the same room with them. And so
Yeah.
far, I've been very fortunate that I give out the right vibe or whatever I'm doing, that I seem to be attracting the right kind of people in this direction, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
I'm so glad Eric mentioned you. See? Eric sent me to you. I said, yeah, look
Did
at
you
that.
contact me? Did you
I
contact me?
did. I did because I'm bold like that.
Okay, so what happened to me is I contacted Austin. I seen him post on the thing, post somewhere on Facebook, and I was just like, hey, you do this kind of thing? He goes, yeah. Would you like to come on? He goes, yeah. One time he saved my bacon. He jumped on, like somebody didn't come on alive, and he just
Oh,
like, I got you, buddy. Boom, jumped in, and we, I got you. Let him have him back on.
Nice.
Just
so you know, Wednesday nights are good for me too, Tom. It's all good.
Oh, if you want to come on with Austin.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying, if you ever in a bind, I'm here for you.
Thank you so much. That's very kind. that was the face of gratitude coming from the dead or whatever I am. Zombie.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I try to do a skull. I try to do the.
Yeah, you got it going on. It's all there. It's all good.
Well, I do paint.
I paint.
I paint more like scenery and stuff like that, like mountains and stuff. I haven't done it in a while because I haven't had the space to do it, but I will soon. And I used to I still have it. I have a channel called Tom Franklin Art, and you get to see me actually painting in speed. Like it's 8 times the speed. Hey, here's Eric right there, dude.
Aww.
Hey, we're happy that you're with us too, brother. And
he's the greatest.
Here's the invitation to you, Eric. If you ever want to come back on, we can talk about all the exciting things happening on the property that you bought. He bought I can't remember the name of it. What's the name of the house? The Night House. Thank you. In Kentucky.
Yep.
Kentucky, right?
Kentucky.
And I know he was just finishing up on it when I contacted him, and they were starting to do some investigations on it, and some stuff's popping off, huh?
Holy cow. I mean, the first night he walked in the place, or the first day, things started happening. And things have really been ramping up. It's been crazy.
Oh, really?
He's catching stuff on his cameras, on his security cameras. They're motion activated, sound activated. So he's been picking up things. It is unbelievable. You got to have him back on. You got to.
Okay. And he's eventually going to open this up to the public, or is he doing it
just for his
own doc? Oh, wow.
He already has. Yeah.
Could you, Eric, could you send me your website so people can, if they want to go check that out, could you pop that on here for me real quick, man? That way, if people want to check out your website, they can go over and actually go up to your property and see what it is that you're doing. I would love to do that for you if I can. All 7 of us in here right now.
Right?
On a Wednesday.
Yeah. And this guy has been, I mean, he's become the historian for the Night House.
Right.
I don't know how he keeps it in his head. He's got so much information.
He has that ability.
Yeah.
There he is right there. Here's his website. Here's his website. You guys go check it out. It's www.thenighthouse.ky. That would be the abbreviation for Kentucky.com. That's one more time. www.thenighthouse.com. And that's all lowercase. And in case you're listening to this on Spotify, go over and check them out and go book yourself a trip maybe to the Night House and check that out and see if you can get yourself a little bit more evidence to try to figure out what all this is. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah,
he's also he's got so many irons in the fire. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I think we do. I don't know if it's ADHD or if it's boredom. I don't know what it is, but we can't sit still. We've always got something.
Well, the thing is, I think it's not work when it's something you really enjoy.
Yeah.
And that thing, like humans have, like for me, I like to deal with like anxiety and depression. I like to create, whether it's this podcast, music, comedy. I do stand up as well, paint, whatever I'm doing. And other people like to explore. That's also human nature to explore. But since all the land masses and rivers, as far as we know, ice wall, joking. So we are in this area where we are exploring these stories that everyone has. It's a universal language that we have all over the world. I don't care if you're in the middle of the Sinai Desert or in the Andes or wherever you are in Tibet, wherever it may be, you have some story about a jinn, about the abominable snowman. There's always something that is to be understood or try to figure to be, kind of discovered. And people like Eric, as well as Austin, because Austin, he's he's got one of the greatest voices I've heard. He should have a radio or something. I don't know. He's got that voice. He's got that. Well, it's so deep and so he's very, very well spoken gentleman as well.
I think you're talking about Eric's voice.
Eric's very scientific about it, and Eric's very he's very stoic. And it's Eric. When you meet Eric, he was actually on the show. Go back and check it out. It's somewhere in my playlist there. These people, as well as many others, whether it be I've had on people from Michigan who do paranormal investigating. I had people from Alabama. I had most people I run into, oddly enough, center from Tennessee. I don't know what that's all about.
Right.
Seems to be where I guess the LBL is. And then I got Harley Owens in East Tennessee, who just cast his first Bigfoot print. Just cast it.
What?
He was just on Tony Merkel's podcast, just like the episode before the one that just came out. He was just on Tony Merkel's podcast.
Wow.
The Confessional. So he's doing big things. He's a great guy. Thanks, Pam. This is my PayPal link if you want to help me update my equipment. I'm still working on things, but as you can tell, being in Mexico, it is difficult. It is because I still work physical labor even at this age. But I just this internet thing, this Pandora's box that's been opened, is allowing people, the weirdos, my beloved weirdos, to come under not one banner, many banners, but it's like a collective of like just interesting people, and I always enjoy the excitement that people have when they do what they love to do. So when you are able to then financially support yourself by not being a part of the machine and do it as whatever it is you like to do. It could be shining shoes. It could be making matchstick houses, whatever that is. And you love it. I'm all for that. I'm all about that. That's why he keeps it in his head, because he loves it.
Right? Yeah.
I think I followed the thread there. Did I follow the thread?
I think you did. I was with you. But yeah. And Eric and Austin both do documentaries and all kinds of stuff. And it's
what's the name of their documentaries? Do they have a website? Is it the same website that was on there for the documentaries?
The documentary at the old Commodore Inn and not Commodore Inn, Commodore Hotel in Linden, Tennessee, and Old Stone Jail and Archives in Franklin, Kentucky, is on Strangely Haunted. You can find that on YouTube. Strangely Haunted.
That's Eric just said that you can find them on YouTube. So go over check that out, guys, because the cool thing about these guys is that Austin was telling me a story about a clock where it's a certain time moved and it dinged and it's not connected to anything. And he's like, okay, could it be this? Could it be this? Could it be this? Could it be this? And they run down the list. And then they go, this is odd. And they don't, there's some paranormal shows where it's like, every 2 seconds.
Exactly. But they're smart. They're smart about it. They try to debunk everything they can.
Right.
They're legit. Good. Yes.
They're legit in what they do.
Austin, his new documentary series he's working on the first episode to come out is The Dead Chronicles. And that's involving Mark. Mark notes for him.
So when you connected me to Mark is kind of the guy.
He's great. He's great. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He always makes me smile, but there's a part but he's so. What gets me? I'm going to tell you. What gets me is the nonchalantness in how he approaches it. Yeah. It's like me telling you about how to make how to bake a cake, and he goes, "Oh, you need your eggs, you need your batter," and he's just like, "Yeah," and that's just how he goes about it, and you're just like, "Okay," and he's.
Yeah, and then he jumps off on a tangent, and you might be talking about the third eye, or I don't know, black magic somebody did, and holy cow! Did he tell you about the black cat?
Coming? No.
Well,
tell me about
did he tell you about the black cat?
No, not yet. Magical, bookmark that for me. When he comes on, let's ask him about the black cat. And I want to also hear about when he was 30 and he had that unfortunate incident. Which
has he not told you yet?
We haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah, you've got to unpack a lot with him.
I think there's so much there.
You're not even scratching the surface.
No, not even close. Not even close. I'm breaking my fingernails just getting close to it. Now he went into. I asked him how he kind of figured out that he was a witch, and he just kind of went all the way back, and until he was like watching these shows in the 60s and 70s, and he was like, "Oh, I really like this one," and what's that one with I had the guy from Star Trek on it with the things on the plane.
Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone. Thank you. And where he was just like, this is incredible, and no one around him really paid attention. And then one day he was sitting in church and he goes, "Wait a minute, I'm a witch." There's Mark. Do you know Mark Powell?
Hey, yeah.
Hi, Mark. Welcome.
Another buddy.
Another Mark.
You guys
X marks the spot. Yeah, and he was just telling me that he just kind of figured it out, and then he figured out like one day he ran into somebody, and it's you have to see it. It's coming up. I have to go through and do a lot of editing because it kept saying the D word and the K word, things you can't see. As far as I understand on YouTube anymore, I haven't seen it. You can't, but I'm going to have to go. It's probably said on about 30 times.
Yeah, he did tell me after he got off with you that he said I said too many words, the words that you're not supposed to say. You get kicked off of YouTube.
He would say things like this. He would say a word that's so benign, and he would, "Oh, I'm sorry, I said that." I'm like, "No, those are not the problem words. It's the other ones." It's like, Mike, there's another friend. You got Mike Atkins. I don't know who are you.
Oh, listen, Mike Atkins and Jenny Atkins should be getting a package next Tuesday from me. They're going to be reading my books, so they've got all 5 books coming.
Oh, that's awesome! That's awesome.
Yeah, I love them. They actually moved up from. You would like having Mike Atkins on your show too, because listen, he has been abducted. He's been abducted. Yeah.
I'm in.
My Lord. And now he has moved from Florida. They've moved from Florida up to Green Mountain, North Carolina, and they were around the area that had so much bad stuff going on.
The devastation of the hurricane.
Yes, but they were up high enough that they lost power. Yeah, they lost power, cell, all that kind of stuff. But they've got that back. Mail is running, but still, he says, just walking around, sometimes you get a whiff of the decay.
No kidding.
Yeah. He says it's everywhere. Everywhere.
I still think it's being very underreported.
It is.
Happened. And that's so strange.
So strange. Also the wildfire out in the West was very underreported. Out in Wyoming. Did you hear about that?
Say it again.
The big wildfire out in Wyoming.
No, I haven't heard of that.
Out of control wildfire. A lot of people have not, but it's been just, I hope they have it under control. I do not know. I hadn't looked.
I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. I don't know where you lie in this area. So if I'm off,
I'm kind of halfway.
It's very interesting that all these things are happening in so-called red states at the moment. It's very interesting.
It's to me, it's because it's an election year.
There we go. Now we're getting to it.
That's just me.
Now we're in my wheelhouse. This is my thing.
That's just me.
I love Sam Tripoli, and do you know Sam Tripoli? He has the Tinfoil Hat podcast. Go check it out.
Okay.
He's a comic.
Yes, I do. I just don't know his name. What is his name?
Sam Tripoli. It's not new. It's been around 10 years.
I know the podcast name.
A very dark comic. He's a very dark. Thank you, Mike. It's being downplayed. Thank you. You said it better than I could. Yeah, he's very dark. He approaches all these things from a comedic point of view. He just I think within the last 3 years became a Christian. But he's like he had sex addiction, drug addiction his whole life. Went through a lot of bad things. He's been a comic for a very long time, and he gets some interesting guests on there. Things.
Wow.
His YouTube channel has been long zapped. It's been long zapped so many years ago, and I just love it. I listen to it all the time. It's still, like when you start running a podcast or a show like this, you can't then listen to the stuff that made you want to do it to begin with. But that's the only one I still like. I'm still listening to. So
Really,
he's great.
he's
Great.
been
He's so funny.
he's been at a couple of conventions lately, a couple of Paracons speaking. So he's been busy. He's been really busy.
He'll have on anybody. He'll have on like UFO people, abductees, the people who've seen this. He'll have on people who've done research on the Kennedy assassination. He'll have people who will talk about Tartaria, who will talk about the mud floods, who will talk about the World's Fairs, things where I love the World's Fair stuff. He's just a fantastic podcaster, and he needs to have more light in what he does. And he's going to be, when it comes to that situation, conspiracy. He's, for me, the go-to guy. He's been on Joe Rogan too. He's like friends with Joe Rogan and all that too. And that was interesting too. Trump was on Rogan. That was crazy.
I didn't see that.
I watched it because I watched him. I watched him with Theo Vaughn first, and Theo Vaughn is very funny. I was like, wow, he's on Theo's podcast? That's wild. And then he was on Joe's, and I think he could have done better, but that's just my point of view. But it's still not, I'm not voting for anyone this year because of my, address situation and trying to get actual mail here. I'm waiting to get my code from YouTube so I can actually put it in and actually receive the like $150 I've made over the year and a half I've been doing this. But I have somebody's address that they're going to give me, a friend of mine, and they're like, yeah, I get all my Amazon packages sent there. It's from mom's house, and everything shows up, so you can just send it there. It's like, ooh, cool. So I actually got an address I can send it to. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. But it's not the reason why. But like I said, I want to be able to do this full time. I really do. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it.
I know Eric has gotten to with his podcast, Unseen Paranormal, because he's really good. Mm-hmm. That's the one I'm going to be on after yours tonight. So me and Austin,
you got another. You got to be off here in a half hour. Yeah, okay. So tell me about that show. He just started this show. Is this recent?
No, he's had it on for a little while, and he's going to kill me because he's told me countless times, and the numbers don't stick with me. But he's been doing it long enough that he is so professional with it. He actually did, Strange Chapters and the Strangely Haunted with Austin, but Strange Chapters was where he was taking authors' books and reading 3 stories from their books. And he asked me if he could read from mine first. And I was like, yes, please. Yeah. Please do.
Dude. Oh, doesn't Mark have a book about necromancy and all that stuff?
Oh my Lord.
Doesn't he have a book about that? That's a Darkest Corner. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta ask him about that. I haven't even gotten there yet.
You've got to. This is one of the ones I edited for him. So
you edited his book? That's awesome.
I do. I'm editing his cookbook right now. And I just turned in the last 2. I was talking to Eric last night, and I said, Eric, I just turned him in the last 2 files of those recipes. So I've got 66 files of recipes. And I haven't put the last 12 to 15 in where they're supposed to go, breads or whatever. But before I got those 12 to 15, I told Mark, I said, you might want to calm down just a little bit because think we're going to have to take some out. And he goes, oh, I don't want to. I want everything, where I can just flip to it and have it. I said, okay, but we're already at 550 pages on a big 8x10 book.
Wow.
550. And then I've got 12 to 15 more files to put in there. And so he called me back the next day and he goes, Cyn, we're good. And I said, for what? And he goes, the cookbook. And I said, okay, well, yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good. What are you talking about? He said, the 550 pages, we can have 800. We can have 800. Yay.
That sounds just like okay. So we got to know each other a little bit more. You're on the level with me. Let me ask you a question. I'm not saying I'm going to do it. Now, the question would be, I'm not saying I'm going to do it with Mark, but if I were to sit down with him while he channels the Bell Witch, would you think I'd be safe?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Number one, you know how you are. And 2, magical on here has got your back.
Yes.
Number
Always
3,
will.
Your girlfriend has your back. Right? So you're protected 3 ways right there.
Oh, she can also
actually
do some Catholic stuff for me too. I'll have that as well.
See? So, and then actually Mark will protect you as he's doing it.
Okay.
Promise you.
Okay. If I do that, if and when I do that, I will definitely have a sit down with you, him, Magical, and whoever I deem necessary on a private chat on here that we don't record before we go through it, because I would like to have everything spelled out for me.
Yeah.
And make sure, because I'm telling you, this is like me saying to you, hey, let's go skydiving.
And I'm like,
you've heard about parachutes, but you've never seen one in practice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm afraid of heights. So, that would be that would take a little talking to.
Awesome. Okay. So before I get you up out of here, I know you have somewhere you got to be. I want to make sure you can go to, maybe go to the bathroom maybe or something.
Yeah.
Get something to drink, maybe eat a hot dog. I don't know what you got lined up. But you're one of my favorite guests. I have plenty, but you're definitely in the short list.
You know what?
What's that?
You're one of my favorite hosts.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It means a lot. It means a hell of a lot. It means a lot. One more time, please tell me, tell the people out there where we can find your books.
Yeah, Cyn Shrader Hill, author. I'm on Amazon. 5 books. There is 1 fiction book. The rest are all true stories. 3 of those books are scary stories. The first one is mostly my area in Tennessee, Lincoln County. And then the 3rd book, if you want to hear some spirit voices, some true EVPs, then grab that book, read through it, and then go to elkvalleyparanormal.com as you're reading it and listen to all the EVPs in the book. And then the 4th book is signs from our loved ones. So it's a less creepy book. There are some near-death experiences in there that are kind of scary, but mostly it's about someone coming back and leaving pennies for us to find, feathers. We smell Old Spice in the air, and Walt. That's Walt. That's
because smells for me are such more of a connecting situation than either a dream or a premonition or something like that. If I smell something, I can remember. I can put myself in the time and place I first smelled it. It's such a wild thing. Oh, that's so cool.
A lot of times, our loved ones will come back, and you'll smell that cologne. You'll smell cigarette smoke. You know it's their cigarette that they're smoking because it has a certain smell to it.
Smurfy, you will smell the descendants of Smurfy. You will smell the gas.
Yep. Yep. It can be anything. It can be anything that is a sign. And it's usually the first person you think of. So there you go.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense very much.
So got it in paperback and on Kindle. And remember, if you have Kindle and you subscribe to Kindle Unlimited, all 5 of those books are free. And Mark's books are also on there. I edit all of those, and his are also free on Kindle Unlimited. He also has his books on Amazon, so check him out.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some wild rides in there. There's some wild rides in there. Oh, I can only imagine, dude. I've talked to him for maybe 2.5 hours now, and it's been like, okay. He's like, only if you want to. No big deal. You don't have to. She's scary when she comes in. Here's the audio. And I'm just sitting there shaking in my boots like, what is this? It's wild, guys.
Listen, I was at a seance with him. We did automatic. He did automatic writing, yeah, and did a seance with him. And what came through when he channeled, every voice was different, and his face changed and actually looked like different people. It's the weirdest thing I think I've ever seen in person. So you just never know. You never know.
So I will probably have you on maybe in December sometime. I'll give you a ring and contact you up, and we'll do a Christmas special or something. I don't know.
Yeah, let's do some Christmas ghost stories and stuff.
Christmas ghost. I'm not going to dress up like Saint Nick or anything. I'm not into that kind of thing. But
you know,
we're not going to paint ourselves up for that one. The Halloween special. And thank you so very much for coming on and like, chopping it up with me tonight. It's still from Jim, chewing the rag. That's what
I've enjoyed it so much. This has been so fun. I appreciate you for having me.
It was my pleasure, and have yourself a good evening, son.
You too. Right.
Bye. So that was once again the lovely, wonderful Cyn Shrader Hill. Go out and check her books, guys. She's cool as can be. She's cool as a cucumber, as they say. Like I said, you can go over. Please do me a favor. Keep finding yourself coming back to the show. Like and subscribe to. We're on our march to 1,000. I know it's a number that's insignificant, but for me, it's a milestone in which that means that I'm doing the right thing. That I'm actually able to, like, I'm doing what it is that I like to do, and it seems to be working. So that number means it's a bit of an ego hit. But at the same time, it means something to me emotionally, spiritually, as well as like, it's hard to describe, but it would mean something to me very much. It's like, once again, you can go over if you want some merch. There's my merch page. There's the link at the bottom, but you can also find it in the show notes. Get yourself a hat, get yourself a coffee mug, get yourself a poster, get yourself a shirt, and that'll be shipped to you directly from the company. It doesn't come through me. I just make a small portion of the profits, and that would be all greatly appreciated. And remember, you're watching the Eye of Jupiter. We are the Eye. We are aware. Love you all very much. Have yourself a wonderful evening.